Greetings, everyone. Welcome to session 81 of the Sphere of Power campaign, based on the Desert of Desolation modules from Classic D&D First Edition, or Second Edition, depending on when you played it. Anyway, we've been going through this for a while now. We have our usual party of suspects gathered, though two are on hiatus this week. But this week we find ourselves inside the Garden of the Cursed. I apologize. Let me just shut off my
I think you need to mute yourself, Dan. Oh, sorry.
No problem, guys. All right, so session 81. Martek's Garden, though likely intended as a test of worthiness for those who would wield his sphere of power, it has also become a lifelong prison for those who, unprepared, sought to embrace Martek's legacy. The garden has become inhabited over the centuries by both recent arrivals and individuals who have been born within the confines of this garden to those who were trapped here long ago. A mage named Trifacus and two of his cohorts have recently arrived and managed to beguile the guilders, who have been here for decades. Percivalis, a paladin hoping to fulfill Martek's prophecy, also found his way here a few weeks ago and aligned himself with the Palatine, a group that apparently descended from other noble warriors who found themselves trapped here long ago. After discovering the Palatine and their fort in the southwestern area, it became obvious that though more formal, the Palatine were obviously the more trustworthy of the two factions, especially given the presence of their recent influencers. It appears my N key is dropping a little too much. With the help of Percivalis and some of the Palatine, the party discovered an obelisk in the northeastern part of the garden, which contained writing in the ancient language that the party has developed some skill to translate. Kaylee and Haig worked together to translate the inscription. So with that, I will pass it to Haig to reminisce on last session's events.
Okay, so after much investigation, I have to go back to what we were looking at, but refresh a little bit. Alex did most of the inscription translation. I went back on a couple of different things that we had seen. One of the words that I couldn't really translate right away, I went back and saw, I think it was light. Yeah, there we go. So recite one of the words that she had come up with. Let me see. Great stone. Just come into this garden and bring them the great star stone. Oh, maybe she already did the edits. Oh yeah, so in the time of light. So when I saw that, oh, she has reset question mark, but that's recite based on the base names or the base phonetics of light above it. Let me see. Gosh, I'm trying to refresh myself at the same time.
Not a problem.
Oh yeah, the 1001 was fun to figure out phonetically instead of just having numbers on the wall.
Unfortunately, the language didn't come with a translation for numbers, so they decided.
Well, right, and the R and the N, the R looks like looks like it could be an N, and it throws us off every time we're doing one of these. So that's a little extra special. Yeah. So war for one, that was because it's 1001. And when you're thinking both words are war at the same time, you're going, what the heck is that?
4,000 war?
Yeah. So
there are a few symbols in there that look very, very similar, and you can only tell the difference by the length of a stem or how high it is above the baseline.
Right. And then I remember seeing the ray. Where's the ray? And anyway, nobody laughed at my joke about Ray Stantz from Ghostbusters once I figured out Ray was.
Oh.
So the next sequel after Frozen Empire for the Ghostbusters series is going to be
I did get a bit of a chuckle on it, but sorry, I didn't add an emote.
I was like, well, I guess that didn't resonate. But anyway, so we've got I think it's by finally uttering Ray shall the 1,001.
What, you want to share the whole translation with the rest of the party?
So the day shall come when men of valor enter this garden and bring with them the great star stones. This has been foretold by Martek in the time of light. They will place 3 stones in the altar and recite their name. Hold on, let me try to blow it up.
All right, does have the advantage of seeing the translation.
Finally, that's what one of them is. It's what does she say for rail when it's supposed to be finally? By finally uttering Ray shall the 1,001 doors be opened before them. There will they test. Let's see. I don't know why I didn't just put it all together. There will the test of their courage begin. So we have to bring in the stones. We'll place 3 stones in the altar and recite Ray. And by uttering Ray shall the 1,001 doors be opened before them. There will the test of their courage begin.
And I would
Is
say
that right?
I would say for the most part, I mean, obviously I'm not going to say, oh yeah, you got it. But for the most part, you've got enough information there that you can work with. I think there are a few nuances that you'll have to figure out either the easy way or the hard way. But I think that's enough information for you guys to work with. A few of you should have questions about it. Not just those who did the translation, but also those that have now had the translation shared with them.
We have 5 stones and it's only asking for 3.
Bingo.
That
That
possibly
reminds me,
means
there
that
was
the
one-
other 3 will be used later on.
Well, you only have 5. There aren't 6. That's
Oh, okay.
possible. You know, there's any number of possibilities to it. Who knows what's going to happen to the stones when you use them, or if you're going to be able to recover them. But that does.
And does another thought is, does which stones we use make a difference in the trial later?
That's a really good question. Also, but one thing that does remind me is that there was another paragraph I wanted to include in the opening intro, which I do think is relatively important to iterate, especially since we got 2 weeks between sessions. But part of this that is important, or the information that is important, is that, and forgive the lack of prose, I didn't have a chance to think of it ahead of time, but you are aware at this point that each of the 2 or 4 groups, depending on how you count them, have knowledge of the star gems, or perhaps they call them star stones, but they know of them. They may or may not know how many of them there are. They know that they need them to move on. They are waiting for people to bring them because they're aware of the fact that they are nowhere in the garden. And so the Guilders have turned it into some kind of religious event, some kind of final promise day, when, you know, someone will arrive, open the doors, and their salvation shall be delivered. The Palatine, on the other hand, are more of a religious crusading group at this point, who believe that their sole mission is to stop the Guilders from attaining their salvation. So depending on your point of view, you could call either side bad or good, to be honest with you. But in terms of having a code of honor and respect for each other, the Palatine are obviously the more qualified group. But what's important about the star gems or stones is that you know each of the other groups knows of them. They each, and you know that each of them knows that they need to use them to move on, so to speak. You have suspicions that someone from the Guilders, and it could potentially have been the Palatine, but that someone was spying on you, and that they may have heard you talking about the star gems. That being said, you were all reasonably sure that you never mentioned that you had the star gems, just that you're aware of them as well, and that you are aware of all 5 of them. How much of this information is leaked back to the other groups, you don't know, but you do expect it's going to change the dynamics of the garden, especially if they know or find out that you have any of the gems, much less all 5 of them. At this point, Kaylee has been guardian of the gems. She has all 5 of them on her possession, I believe. Or did
I believe she does have all of them at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, she does.
Dan, I thought Haig, you had one of them.
Yeah, I thought you had one, Dan.
I thought we had,
You know what?
gosh,
Check the
it's been long enough where I don't remember for sure. Did we need one of them to do
Discuss.
something at one of the puzzle rooms a little while back?
All right, according to Kaylee's inventory sheet, she does have all 5 of them on.
Okay, yeah, I thought we had put them all in one basket at one point. I know at one point I did have one, but I thought we had gotten to where I'm like, yeah, let's just give them all.
All right, and the next question, hopefully, and you know what, I'm not going to do that. That could be too much foreshadowing, so I'll leave that out for now. All right, so moving forward.
I need to get this garage insulated. That's my last statement.
Yep, that's why I'm not even bothering with mine. It's going to be 40s next week. I'll do stuff out there next week. I'm not doing it this week. No way.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you. You got the rest of the country's been getting hard by this.
Well, and my PC is running so slow because all my parts are cold. It's yeah. It's gonna take me a minute to get
thought
into
the cold
fantasy
PC
grounds.
runs faster.
Yeah, you would think, but no, this is cold enough where it's sluggish.
I can't turn the fan.
Is that Ian's computer?
No, it's mine. It's my
Oh, okay.
little compact desktop that I usually play
very
on in
good.
here. There's Aiden pulling the car in.
All right, so it is, as I just posted, the 11th day of the month of Marpanoth. It is early in the morning. The dome garden that you're in does apparently seem to mimic light cycles, though not with the same intensity. Day is not quite as bright, night is not quite as dark, but there is enough light there to sustain the garden and all the plants that live within it. And you have seen some wildlife also. So, not to mention that the food that you ate included some protein. So, there's obviously a wide variety of flora and fauna within the garden. But you now find yourself in this little grove just to the northeast of one of the water bodies inside the garden. What would you guys like to do now?
My question is if we use, well, before we talk out loud about this, is it possible to do perception to see if there are,
Sure.
is anyone else currently listening?
Well, you are there with Percivalis and I think it was 4 of the Palatine.
Oh, okay. We've got other people with us, so all right, very good. That's right, because they led us up to that to show us where it was. Isn't that right?
Correct.
Okay. So, and none of them have been able to translate it?
No, they're not as familiar with the language.
Okay. All right.
That's their only exposure to it. You guys have had a chance to see it how many times now? It's usually a lot easier to translate
Bunch.
something when you have larger data sets to compare to.
Okay.
So they've done some translation of it, but now that you've shared it vocally, a couple of them are like, "Oh, that's what that was." So at this point, while you are contemplating in silence, Percivalis decides to chime in. So as you can tell, we need 3 star gems in order to move on and open up the doors of Grandal.
Wait, how does he know we need 3 if he can't read the thing?
Because you guys just shared it vocally.
Because I shared it out loud.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay.
Now that being said, also the altar by the doors also has 3 slots in it, and that would be something that you would remember from last night a lot easier. If you were,
Yeah, and I'm not. My map isn't up yet. Sorry, I'm not
Yeah,
able
that's
to
fine.
do any searching.
So it's not surprising that he knows about it and that you just shared it. He also, keep in mind, Percivalis is the paladin who came here just a few weeks ago, trying to fulfill the prophecy after Calatarius was unleashed. So he figured the time was right for him to heed his calling.
So he also knows that the river is flowing back in the other.
You haven't
area?
specifically confirmed that, but that wouldn't be unreasonable, depending. Yeah, the river had made it all the way up to the cursed city of Medinat. So, presuming that there weren't, well, there was some indication there may have been other pillars scattered throughout the desert. But if he entered the garden through the pillars that you came in through, he would have had to know that the river's been restored. So you would say it's a pretty good bet.
So the true question, talking as a player, not as my guy, is whether we want to let them know we have the gems. We can't really proceed if we don't produce the gems. But it really comes down to our group. I would probably turn to the Palatine and say, could you excuse us for just a minute, and kind of huddle up with the rest of the people and say, okay, we need to sort out, do we want to let them know we have gems, or do we not want to let them know? We could try and sneak off and
I will say this
use
in advance,
them.
Elohir will probably vote thumbs down.
Yes, and I would agree with that. I think that I was going to add that I think Maddie and I have already kind of given each other body language from last session that we trust this guy because he's a paladin
For sure.
and from some of the other things that he has done. So our vote is going to be yay, and I agree.
Yep.
I agree with the boss that I think Kaeli's vote is going to be nay.
So that comes down to what Ms. and Redreth have to say on the issue.
And Albie, do we want to text him?
I'm going to abstain from voting, both because he's both not here and he's not invested in the quest from the very beginning. He's just kind of tagging along with the party. Happy to help out, but he probably, as a cleric, doesn't feel like he should be providing much more than guidance, not voting rights.
Okay.
What do you think, Ms.?
Well, I hate to make this a
Probably will
draw.
encourage not trusting them too quickly, but not be against the idea of trusting them.
Who is that?
I might actually suggest only sharing that information with Percivalis instead of stating it in front of the larger group.
Well, Mizram will probably vote with Kaoli because obviously he's always stealthing off with her. So if the rogue thinks secrecy is the best approach, he'll be like in Weasel form. He'll be sticking his head out of pocket and just shrug his shoulder, going and just point his paw towards Kaoli. That he goes
Nodding
with
your
her.
head, nodding your head, just
Yeah.
what she said.
Yeah.
Talk to the
But-
paw.
But that's like asking if water's wet if the rogue is gonna prefer secrecy. I mean,
You got to remember, I've been slinking around in animal form for pretty much the whole campaign. Trying
well, I suppose
not
if
to
you
let
vote
people
against
know.
if you vote against Kale, you won't have a pocket to ride in. So
and that is another reason
That's a
why
very true.
he's very obedient. he gets hand fed and he gets pocket travel. It's a win-win.
We could do this.
you could do what? We could do this. Go
I'm-
quiet.
Yeah,
What
I
do you
put my
say?
mic up because I was talking to Aiden.
So I
So-
guess it falls on the wizard then to break the tie break.
Yep, that's what I was noting.
Well, I guess in the
Sorry,
in the
I had
case
my
of-
I had my mic off. I was talking. I had my mic off.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan. Say what you were thinking.
I was going to say in the case of a draw, I would have to say that we have to err on the side of caution.
Well, I haven't voted yet.
Oh, sorry.
Since Albie's not voting, I'm kind of a tiebreaker here. I think that looking back and forth at both of the groups who are kind of, giving the opposite inclinations as to what they would like to do, I would probably take Percivalis aside and kind of like what you had said, Keith, or who was it that had said it?
I was
Just
suggesting Albie or Feckish in
Albie,
his clerical
yeah.
role is going to suggest a guidance or a consideration rather than making a decision one way or the other.
Yes. So I would probably take Percivalis aside from the rest of the group and kind of if we're here in the area, I would probably just take him and head down here by the edge of the water a little bit and just quietly let him know that we do have, I wouldn't say
Well, I
how
don't think
many.
you have to. You're certainly welcome to do so, but I don't think you have to take him
Yeah,
that far
right.
away, because I would point out that the rest of the Palatine, again, they've been here several generations. They're inbred. They're relatively low intelligence
You got a
scores.
good spot, good idea where it is?
You're not muted, Dan.
Sorry.
So, yeah, they've been inbred for several generations. They're not particularly the most astute of individuals, and they have that in common with the majority of the guilders, also, except for the recent arrivals. But I mean, it's already apparent that they're amusing themselves with very simple things. A pair of them are tossing sticks between them. Another one seems to be chasing a bug in the brush, while another one is climbing up a tree.
All right. I'm still going to take him a little ways away, and I'm rolling perception to see if I notice anyone skulking in the brush, because this is kind of our trump card of everything else. And I just quietly mention that we do have a few of the stones, and we are trying to be careful with them. We're not sure of the ramifications. Also, just kind of thinking a little more as a player, if we open the way with the stones, can we close it again before someone who might want to cause trouble can come through? Or is it when we open it up, it's just open and everybody can come
Right.
in?
And that's my
Um,
thought of having the Palatine on our side, because they're going to stop anybody else from getting in,
Okay. Yeah.
would be my
So,
thought.
yeah. So I just let him know that those are some of our considerations that we are concerned about. And then having imparted that information, we'll bring him back to where the rest of the group is for a more group-like chat. And that we are specifically letting him know so that he could make plans accordingly. We do want to proceed, but we also do not want, we would like to do as least of a fight with other people if there is something like that coming.
All right. So to attempt to respond to this and handle it more in a conversational manner. So first of all, his eyes do grow wide as soon as you reveal that you have some of the star gems, and he obviously is now itching to ask questions. But he's obviously also making a obvious effort to you to not overreact, not exclaim, "What? You have them?" That kind of thing. He's like, "You have them? Really? How many of them do you have?" That's his first question. He wants to know if you have
Okay.
at least 3 of them.
I specifically don't answer. I say, what would be the plan going forward if we were to use them?
That is a great question indeed. I agree that we should have one. The first question that comes to my mind is whether or not I am permitted to share this information with my colleagues, compatriots.
That is where I will start bringing in our both Varric and Haig and Kaylily. I want her specifically as a dissenting voice to provide, make sure that we're not overstepping. I did feel it was okay to let him know about this, but the whole idea of keeping the circle of people, I mean, everybody's going to know as soon as we use them, but until we get to that point, keeping the circle of people who know as small as possible is definitely the idea. So I would wave Haig, and I'm assuming that Mizram is going to be there with Kaoli, and so I'll bring Haig over here, and we kind of have a little huddle going on,
Mm-hmm. Kaylee is going to chime in, or I'm going to make a educated guess that her feedback on this matter is, once realizing that keeping the possession of the stones a secret has been voted down by the party. She will point out that it seems to her that it would be more dangerous for them to think or guess that you have less than the full amount, or at least enough to open the door. If he knows that we're going to have that the party has the stones, he should probably know that you have enough stones to open the door. Otherwise, it's just going to invite attempts for others to try to steal them in hopes of collecting enough of them. But if someone knows that you have all 3, it's going to require a much more organized effort.
My argument to Kaeli is going to be that I don't think that any of us are against the secrecy of the mission, but there are just too many people and too many things at stake for us to be able to constantly cover our butts. They can rotate shifts. They can, especially if we have people who are devious, they have enough people to keep somebody and an eye on us at all times. We might have to pick an alliance here and as someone to trust that has more people to
Agreed.
counteract anybody who's working against us.
And just for
I was going
clarity,
to say, hold on a second.
our
Hold on
little
a second.
just for
I
okay.
was going to say, Fekish was going to chime in with the old-fashioned clerical wisdom here. It said, it would probably be more prudent to be allied with one side than to be adverse to both sides.
Agreed.
I thought you said alive, ALIVE at first, and I was like, yeah, that is definitely preferable.
Mm-hmm.
Alive is good. Alive is good.
I would also just point out that this little huddle we have here, Percival is with us. So if Haig is talking with Kaoli about stones plural, he already knows we have more than one. And so so I would say we can open the door is all I would say in a reaction to that. But the thing is, we need to make plans and we need to figure out how is the other group going to react? How do we protect, our initiative as we move forward?
Well, Percivalus is going to point out that if you have the means to open if you can open the doors and you have at least 3 of the stones, I think it is in our best interest to operate in haste, not without a plan, but for us to act quickly. The longer that you are here with these stones, the more likely it is for that information to come out. And if the guilders find out, you will immediately be set by dirty hands looking to place them upon those stones for their own needs. I do not know whether or not we can close the doors behind us. I do not know whether or not we will need to guard against them, but you can be certain that as soon as they are aware those doors are opened, and they most certainly will be aware when they open, they will come follow immediately.
I would say let's go. My vote is to go right away. I don't know what the rest of you think. I would ask Percival, do you need to gather some people for this initiative? And if you do, make sure that don't tell them why, but tell them we are gathering at the doors. What does the rest of the group think?
He stands there in contemplation for a moment, eyes rolling in the back of his head slightly as he contemplates a plan. Obviously, at least one side of his brain is very actively engaged. Says, yes, I see quite a few potential complications here. Though I am not as committed to the cause, the rest of the Palatine will absolutely rush to prevent the Guilders from getting into Grand Hall. That is their purpose, their life's goal. For both of these groups, this could and very likely will be a battle to the death. And I don't think there is much way that we can avoid it without more time to dissuade them from such course of action. But as you just said, you are pressed for time. And I'm very aware that the longer we wait, the more Calatarius will wreak havoc across the desert. With the river recently restored, now is not the time for it to have to deal with such tribulation. Let me send the rest of my companions back to the camp. And I would suggest that we make our way around to the doors by circumventing the Gilder camp. The main route to the doors is through there, and they will obviously know our passage. However, we can make our way through the brush, albeit a bit slowly, and make our way around to the doors. I will do my best to have the rest of the Palatine follow these 4 around the other way. But they're not always the best at following orders. Or instructions, I should say. They are very loyal and devout, but they don't necessarily understand complicated instructions that often. I guess we can decide whether or not to open the doors when we get there, or if we want to wait for my contingent to arrive.
What does the rest of our group think?
And I am going to have to ask a thoroughly DM related question at this point in the interest of being prepared. I don't think there's going to be, I'm giving away anything by asking this, but I need to. In the event that you are present when an all-out battle breaks out between the two groups, should it break out, is it going to be the party's intent to engage and help out in the battle? Or are you going to hopefully rely on the Palatine to provide distraction as you guys move forward?
My vote is to allow them. I think we can go full transparency and say,
This is to the
Cover us.
DM,
We
not
need
to
it.
Percivalis.
oh, yeah, I would say we let them be the distraction while we move forward.
Okay, and the reason why
But
I'm asking should
the
be
guild-
obvious, but just to be clear, I want to know whether or not I need to prep for a full-on battle.
I like the
And the
idea of
guilders
battle.
have that other party helping.
Well,
I think
keep in mind, we're talking about at least 50 participants on each side.
Mm.
This would
I-
definitely be
our-
epic in scale, but not in power.
Our goal is not to fight the guilders. Our goal is to get through and continue on.
Sure.
I would think that Percivalis, just as a recommendation, would recommend that Percivalis assign whoever he can trust under him to
Well,
put them in.
Percivalis will share with you at this point, it's not out of context yet, that he would desperately like to join you. He came to the garden to fulfill the prophecy. He wants to help eliminate Calatarius. He has no particular ambitions for power himself. He's not necessarily wanting to wield the sphere of power, but he certainly wants to continue his quest. But that being said, since entering the garden, he's established a camaraderie and an implicit loyalty to the rest of the Palatine. And being a paladin, he's not about to let them down. I mean, this is an opportunity to fight for a cause.
where's the coveralls, dude? Sorry.
That's okay. And with that being said, your paladin is also going to be like, I gotta fight. I gotta fight.
Yeah, but I was hired. If the wizard is saying our goal is this,
And that is
he
a
hired
valid
me,
commitment.
and
That is a valid commitment as well. And
yep,
not to
I
mention,
will acknowledge the Palatine's own goals.
so
That's
Yeah,
who
and
that-
I what
I
I
wanna
was
join
going to
you,
say,
but I need to see this through with the Palatine first, whatever their decision is.
what I was going to say to the Palatine is that he should assign someone else to manage the group around the gate and guard the gate and keep anybody else out, while he and maybe a couple trusted people, if he felt they needed to, accompanied us through. That would be my take on it.
Without coming up with a whole dialogue, basically he agrees with you and he likes the idea, but he feels that with the recent arrival of the other three, Trifacus and his two cohorts, that if they are engaged also, that the Palatine would be seriously overmatched, and so he would be abandoning them if he just left someone else in charge. So he feels he has to stand with the Palatine until he's sure that they are safe and secure. And, you know, perhaps he'll catch up with you. No one knows what's beyond the doors, other than what the stone suggests.
That is definitely his battle and his choice to make.
Yes, and he
We were
respects that
saying
you guys
it's
are
cool
here
if he
to-
wanted to come with. If he wants to stay back, I still think we need to go forward. So
No, I think all of those are viable decisions. Like I said, I just want to make sure that I'm prepared for handling the game content. Yes, that is my cat bumping against my microphone. I'm not sure what you're hearing from it, but I keep moving it in front of my mouth, and then he pushes it away. He's doing those cheek rub things right now. Yep, there he goes again. Ollie, trying to run a game here. Come on. Here's my lap cap. All right, so, well, with your permission, I shall have my contingent. What does he refer to? I'll have my team run back to the camp and gather up the rest of the Palatine to meet us around the edge. Are we ready to move forward? I would suggest that our best route probably would be to follow the stream up to the doors.
Let's go.
It will probably be easier passage than cutting our way through the brush, not to mention wading through the water will be a lot quieter than us chopping down trees and other rushes. All right, so
Yeah, let's
I
do
agree.
it.
Let's go.
all right, so I don't have an icon up for Percivalis. Probably should. Let's see. Doo-doo-doo. Ah, damn it! I got his picture in there, but I never made the NPC for him. All right. Yeah, I got the other three in here. I forgot to make up Percivalis' character. I'm sorry. All right. Hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. So, anyway, the four have gone back. He whispers to them in quiet, and apparently they decide to go out, also follow the river heading southwest. So they don't want to go to where where they can be seen by the guilders. So they head out that way to head back to the fort, and Percivalis says, well, let's start heading up the river. Who wants to lead?
Not the wizard.
I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, either one of the Goliaths will be. We should have a pretty easy time, man.
Yeah, you'll be right.
So I'm going to suggest that Barak is going to take the lead, walking with a fellow paladin.
Yeah.
Oh, good call. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Haig, are you going to be right behind him or taking up the rear?
No, I'll be side by side with my brother.
Okay.
Oh, clicking on your token doesn't bring up the map anymore.
Yeah, it brings up another interface where you can
If you,
click
yeah,
on
if
it.
you, on the second interface that comes up, click the crosshairs and that'll bring up the map.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Then we'll
Yep,
add
there we go.
Kaoli and Fekish, Mizram. Kind of walking them right next to each other. I mean, obviously, Mizram is in Kaoli's pocket. Fekish a little bit behind, and then Redreth is in the. No, we'll put Redreth behind them and let Fekish take up the rear.
So I put my heat gun. Yeah. I hope to put my heat gun in the cavity where my computer tower sits, and it's warming up the little space.
And then all of a sudden the solder starts melting.
Yeah.
No, I've got a good Wagner heat gun. I can adjust the heat setting, so I've got it on 2 out of 5. So even if it's not that hot.
Mine's just high and low.
Yeah, I got to find my old heat gun that I used to do my military boots with, because Eric called me, Maddie, and he says, yeah, my kitchen pipes keep freezing. I'm like, well, I got something for you if I can find it.
Nice. Yeah. Did it work for him?
I haven't found it yet.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Soon enough. Soon enough.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get them hooked up.
Oh, dude. I don't know how often you talk to Zaglafi, right?
Often
So-
enough where I'm frustrated, but anyway, go ahead.
Have you talked to him since yesterday?
No.
Because we had an incident. Well, I had an incident yesterday driving through Livonia.
Yeah.
You know, in South Livonia, when it goes from 30 to 50 to 30,
Yeah.
just changed to 50. I'm doing about 45, right? And I'm not like gunning it. It's kind of shitty out. I'm driving the Trailblazer. And I look back and somebody's blowing up my ass. Like I can't even see their headlights, right? So they
Yeah, I'm
end up
tracking.
ripping around me right before, as it's turning 30 again, they go flying around me. Turn on their turn signal, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with them, and turn mine on like I'm gonna follow them. Had no intention.
Uh-huh.
So then they keep going straight. They turn on their signal like they're going into Bowen, and they're braking, and they're like throwing their hands up. So I'm like making fun of them, flicking them off the whole time because I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like, relax. And so they go to pull in the Surefine and just stop. And I start blaring on the horn, right? So they start pulling into the Glen.
Oh boy.
And they just stopped. So I'm blaring on the fucking horn. Like, what are you do? Dude, you were in such a hurry a minute ago. What is going on? So I go by them and they pull out behind me. And I'm like, oh, word.
Now we're going.
Okay.
Now we got something.
I stopped right by the fireman's park. I just stopped in the middle of the road and got out of my fucking car because I was like, I'm not playing this game. You're being an idiot. Do I know what was about to happen? No. But I step out of the car. Who's driving that motherfucking car? But Mike's like, Lucky.
All right,
And
gang,
he
I would like
steps out,
each
and
of
I'm
you. I would like each of you to make a stealth check, please.
Shit.
Determine how quietly you're proceeding through the glade. And
I'm a wizard, so stealth is, I'm sure, one of my best things.
Oh yeah.
You would hope.
Same with the paladin armor.
Oh yeah, and me with a -1. So
Yeah, I've got a +1 at least.
As the sound of jingle bells rings through the glade as the paladin goes through.
Do I need a roll, Keith, or not really?
We'll have
As the paladin
you
hums,
roll,
dashing
and it's
through
gonna
the
represent
snow.
Kaoli.
Sorry, what was that, Keith?
So we're gonna have you roll, and it's gonna represent Kaoli's stealth.
Awesome. Hopefully, I'll do a proud.
Well, better than the rest. Varric, you're just stepping on sticks and kicking rocks around. You're not doing very good.
That tracks.
Redreth, you're not doing much better. Redreth is kind of slipping in the water.
Well, I would probably be more stealthy if I wasn't making little poofs of firebolts with my fingers.
I forgot I get to roll with advantage due to my ability, but I'm not sure which one of those rolls is better. But I'll let you pick.
You're fine. You're just fine.
Awesome.
Kaoli is displaying her usual stealthy competence. So anyway, Percivalis is kind of looking back at you guys each time you make a noise and whatnot. And you can kind of tell that there's a little frustration from him, but he's well-mannered enough not to make any comments. But those of you who are paying attention to him can tell he's getting a little frustrated with just you guys are acting like a troop of dwarves, basically. As you get past the first cluster of trees, there's another passageway that comes up towards the northeast that you have to cross. And as I said, each one of these squares are about 50 feet across. So, there's a good ways that you're going to have to cross. And in the distance to your left, you can kind of see the Gilder village. You don't see too much activity. It still is kind of early in the morning. You presume after the previous night that they're probably still hungover and recovering from previous night's festivities. But, it is also late enough in the morning that you can't be sure when they're going to pop out. So you're wary that they could see you. To your right is another large grove that you can't quite see the extent of. Because there's a large, well, not a large, but a good-sized mound, maybe about 10 feet tall, in the center of it. The river, meanwhile, continues up to the northwest into another grove of trees, and you can tell after maybe about, I guess maybe 100 feet or so, that it's going to turn to the right.
You know, we could go up to the door, open the door, and then I could create the tiny hut right in the doorway. And that would buy us 8 hours. I'd have to stay at the doors, but just saying that's another way that we could secure the door. If
And can
guys
you
wanted to.
fireball out of the hut?
No,
Like you can reach
I
your
can't.
hand. Oh,
no, but it's
Dang.
invulnerable. So
word, word.
Well, it's definitely a
The
creative
failing
solution
to-
if the mage wants to stay behind.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could probably stick my hands out, you know, as long as I stay inside, I could probably stick my hands out and cast a fireball, but I risk having one of them shot off. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's understandable.
just saying that is a consideration though, is
Yeah.
it takes time to cast the hut. So if we wanted to do that, but that just is an option. And depending on how big the doors are, you know. But we could block it that way if we needed to.
Been up there. 30 feet wide, 100 feet tall.
How tall?
100 feet.
Oh, well, okay, that wouldn't matter because the dome's only 30 feet at the center. I think it's a 30-foot
So
sphere.
yeah, it's possible they might figure a way over it.
I mean,
Oh,
that's something else to slow them down.
Yeah, it's a 10-foot radius, so 20 feet. So it'd only be 10 feet tall in the center. So yeah, it wouldn't make much of it. Never mind.
Yeah.
Now the question is, if we put the gems in the area and it opens, if we pull the gems back out, does it close again?
I was curious
I don't
about
think
that as
anyone
well.
knows the answer to that.
Because how fast does it open and close could be the key. Because if we can get it open just enough for us to get in, and then the last person pulls even just one of the stones and tosses it through the door, then the doors will be locked behind us. You know, even if somebody's stuck out there, just throw one through the door and
Well, technically speaking, I think you'll be best for the job if you do that because you've got what that spell what allows you to magically blink.
Dimension Door.
Oh.
I got
Yeah.
Misty Step and Dimension Door.
Yeah.
I have Misty Step as well.
Yeah.
So once the door's open, we can grab the gems and just bamf in.
Right.
Yeah, I say we don't leave any of the gems behind. I kind of like that.
Yep. Yeah, if it'll shut again when we pull the gems back out again, that is probably the way to go. And I can take one other person with me through Dimension Door too. So if worse comes to worse, I can, you know, grab whoever's also helping pick up the gems. And I can cast my spells while I've got things in my hands. So I don't need my hands to
Awesome.
cast spells. So that's part of Warcaster.
Well, that's handy.
So the cat is just playing the thing of the bad jokes today.
Pretty much.
Okay, very good.
Give me just a second. Locate something that I thought I had moved over to Fantasy Grounds, but I did not. Sorry about that. Can't move the microphone again. Let's see.
I do really want to hit some of these guilders.
Now, where did I put it? I hate it when I do that. Maybe I can find it over here. Ah, where did it go? That stinks. There we go. Okay, cool. Yay. All right, I found that. All right. So you're continuing to move forward, right? Along the path of the river.
Yeah.
I am actually of the opinion that we might want to go faster and screw the stealth. Just get there first. I mean, it depends. Do we have
Hold
it?
it down
Are
till
any
the Palatine get there.
Well, Palatine have to go all the way back to the southwest corner and then come back up.
Mhm.
So
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's going to be a while.
yeah, they're going to be a little bit. I don't think you have to worry about.
I mean, I think we're going to want some reinforcements and begin fortifying the position. You know what I mean? If we get there first, I think that would be our focus. Because otherwise, yeah, we're going in with our, those pajamas with the butt flap in the back. That's open. You know.
So if we get there first, I could cast the dome right at the doorway, and that would at least give us a place to shelter until the other Palatine get there.
Yeah, and we can just say we're going to camp there for a night to check it out. Give our readers and scribes a chance to check all the ruins out. And
How
just camp
far? How far is the place where or how close is the altar that you put the stones into to the door?
Not that far. I think it was about 50 feet. Let me double check.
Okay.
50 feet in front of the doors. Yep.
Okay. So I can't cover both with the dome. I can cover one. But as long as you guys are inside the dome when I cast it, you guys can freely come and go, but nobody else who is inside the dome will be able to come in. So the question is, do we put the dome over the altar that has the 3 indentations, or do we put it over the doorway? Because if we put it over the altar, we can easily put the stones in place, but we can't block other people from getting to the door. But if we put it over the doorway, we can keep others away from the door. But then getting it to the altar is going to be trickier, possibly, if there's people crowding in. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't think we should open it until the Palatine get there. If we defend anything, if we put the dome around anything related to the door or the altar, I think it would just, the easiest deception would be that you're working on some magics to try to bypass the use of the star gems until we have Palatine
Sure.
backup.
And I think having the rogue and so Mizram, what happened? Like if you have a star gem in your inventory, you change into a cat or whatever, what happens to your inventory?
It's like absorbed into his body.
Yeah, pretty much. What Matt
Because that
said.
seems like the safest place to put some of those then.
Yeah.
Nobody can pilfer it if it's a part of you.
That is very true. Is that what you want?
That
me to do?
is genius.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah,
That's
Because then
genius.
you should have 3 of them. My guess, if we've got 5, you should have 3 of them so that nobody else can open the door. And then Kaolili should have 1 or 2, and then she can sneak around. And then those could sneakily be put in place. I can set up the dome right at the doorway and be concentrating on quote unquote working my magic. And then yeah.
just drop them in and go.
Okey-dokey, sound like a plan.
Are there once we start getting closer to all this, do we see any guilders or
How wide is
Any-
the doorway?
Well, as soon as I get you all positioned up there, actually, you guys can begin positioning yourselves around the altar and the door on your map. I'll go ahead.
Your hands
and
okay?
read the description on it. All right. Let's see. Majestic twin doors of shining silver tower 100 feet to an archway. They are each 30 feet wide and have no markings, handles, or hinges. From 10-foot wide openings on either side of the doors, 75-foot waterfalls cascade down into pools from which flowed the rivers. In front of the doors, there is a platform made of a strange, polished blue-gray stone. A small altar stands on the platform 50 feet in front of the doors. It has 3 oddly shaped holes carved into the side facing the doors. So, it is now about 8:30 in the morning. It's taken you about an hour to attempt to stealthily get your way up there. With that being said, the rest of the Palatine are not there yet. And I presume that the rest of you are going to kind of want to remain in the shadows or out of easy view until, well, who's going to stay in the brush and who's going to go up to the altar? And Percivalis will join the group that goes to the altar.
I'll go up to the altar in case there are inscriptions.
Just
And I'm going if the
remember,
wizard is.
anybody who wants to come into who wants to pass through the dome needs to be there when I cast it.
Yep.
And that takes 10 minutes.
Must
So
be
I will
chosen
need
the
a
wizard.
well, and it's going to be according to the spell.
Well, let me just clarify something from the DM perspective. I am presuming that you're going to go up to there and make some final assessments before taking any actions. I'm presuming that it is not your plan to walk up in there and start sticking stones into the altar, right?
Correct. I was
Yes.
also thinking that possibly with the Misty Step and everything else that depending upon how fast that door opens, I might want to put my dome right over the altar. And that will make that process super easy. And as soon as other people get through, then I pull the stones and Misty Step through. Or it's 50 feet out, so I pull the stones and Dimension Door through the opening
Yeah.
before it closes. That's just the thought that occurred to me that would be the way to guarantee that we can easily put the stones in and that we could easily put the stones in place and get, not be impeded getting through the door. We just need other people to defend the door until the rest of the Palatine get there.
All right, quick question.
And that's going to bring everybody and their uncle, because the Palatine all basically have to march right next to the Gilder place. So everybody's going to come as soon as they all start moving up here. So
we should have told them
at
to
100
pretend
feet
it was
tall,
like a funeral
the tops of the doors can pretty much be seen from just about anywhere in the garden.
well, and that's
Unless
why
you're
part of
inside
my
the
mind
brush.
is, do we want to just drop the stones in and go before everybody else has a chance to even get there?
Keep in mind, it
Bad
also
way to
says
look
there's
at
a test of courage, so you're presuming that it's not just going to open up and everyone can get in.
Mm.
Yeah, but is it more difficult to do the test when we've got 200 people around
Fight.
vying or fighting or whatever else, or is it easier to do the test right now when it's just us and the rest are still waking themselves up?
They don't know what we're doing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do the rest of you think?
Well,
I'm go ahead.
I was about to say I will go with the majority on what you want to do.
If it was just you, Mizram, what would you do?
I would try and get in there while everybody probably unprepared.
Yep. Yeah, go now. For go now. That makes a lot more sense than. Yeah, we're leaving the butt flap open, but I mean, it's a little crazy to think about trying to pass a test of courage while there's a battle going on.
Right.
Well, that should be no problem for a paladin.
Yeah.
All right. So another question I actually have for you guys. While we're waiting for the Palatine to show up. Since Kaeli is the one that is in possession of all the gems, I realize we just talked about giving some of them to Mizram, but currently they're all sitting in Kaeli's inventory. All right, you know what? With that in mind, let's see if I can do something quick. Interest of the game. All right, I have put a copy of each of the gems into Mizram's inventory, just so you have one place where you all can look at it. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I could have looked at it on the party sheet. Inside the party sheet on your guys' side, can you see what other people are carrying?
Looking here.
Yeah, I was looking too. I thought you could.
I think it may have been something you could do in the past, but they.
Yeah, I do see carry. Yeah, it lists who it's carried by. Yep.
Okay. All right. So what I can do then. Since you guys can see it in her list. I don't need to give one to each one of you. But you can't call it up. Oh, that's not that big of a deal. You can always ask me what they look like if you need to.
The song is over. Thought I'd something more to say. Ooh, look at that flashy little ball. I like to be here when I can.
I'm not sure if this is a natural reaction when I'm looking at the gem, but I get an urge to want to eat them.
Tired.
To eat them?
It's good to
don't
warm
think
my
that is
balls
entirely
beside
natural.
the fire. Oh. Yeah, Maddie, I gotta get this place insulated. Jesus, bro.
I can't imagine, dude.
Yep,
Like
Dan,
my office.
that's
is
what
pretty
I'm
cool.
doing next week.
You are insulating?
Yeah, I actually have some insulation I got from Flint way back when, and I've got some plastic, so I'm going to start the ceiling first. Ceiling's
Yeah,
most
right.
important. Then I'll move to the walls. But yep.
Yeah, it's freaking cold in here. We've got the heat gun running on the back side of his muffler where we did the repair. He says, Dad, I'm just going to let this run on this for 10 minutes and get it to harden up. I'm going inside and warming up a second. I said, it's fine by me, buddy.
Right, understandable.
All right, folks, I've just shared all 5 gems with you, so that should help you be able to differentiate them. Remember, they are all the size of your fist. Well, Redreth's fist, not the Goliath's.
Just a question, guys. Is any of the name of the gems important? Do they hold any important meaning?
They've
Because
only have, one of them's not labeled. Large clear crystal is not labeled with its correct name. So do we know what the names are? Do we remember what the different names are?
No, hold on a second.
Because I agree with Ms.
I get a feeling that 3 of these are probably definitely designed for opening doors, and 2 are probably definitely designed for use elsewhere.
Interesting. All right, they should both now appear with their names. If not, they are appearing on the shared screen. All right, guys, I need to take a quick break. Let's call it until the top of the hour.
Okie dokie.
And we'll be
Alrighty.
back in about 15 minutes, and then we'll proceed with whatever plan you guys have concocted. See you shortly.
This whole time we've been waiting for me?
Not the whole time, about a minute or 2. I got back a little late.
Yep, the whole time. Half hour.
Yep.
We've
Oh,
been
the
waiting
whole
an
time.
hour. Where have you been?
Oh, I've been here
All
listening to the
right, so,
conversation.
and actually that's about how long that you wait for the rest of the Palatine to show up, who start appearing. That they actually seem to be smart enough to be coming out of the. Oh, wait a minute, let me check something.
Were we waiting?
Yeah, you were waiting for the rest of the Palatine to show up.
Okay. I wasn't sure if we were waiting or if we were just gonna drop the stones and go.
Yeah, we hadn't decided if that's what we were when we went to break. We were deciding. We were looking at the gems, we were looking at the altar, and you said the indentations on the altar were spherical in shape, right?
I think they said odd shape specifically. Let me double check.
Okay.
Platform made of strange polished blue-gray stone. Small altar stands on the platform 50 feet in front of the doors. It has 3 oddly shaped holes carved into the side facing the doors.
Roger.
And then the Palatine, when they arrive, um, come out that way from there. And as soon as they arrive, Percivalus notices them and uses hand gestures to command them. And they start flanking both of the two passages. So they form a line across there.
Any Gilder sightings?
No, not so far.
Okay.
Let's remind me, do another check. All right, so you got a group of about a little less than 24 standing in each one of the paths through the trees. And we have Varric, Redreth, and Percivalus standing behind the altar, facing the 3 slots. What would you like to do?
Well, I am of the opinion that we shouldn't wait for everybody to gather. That we should get the group that's going through right up by the doors, place them in, and see what happens. I don't think we want to wait until the other group approaches. We want to do it before they can cause trouble.
Before the Palatine get there?
Yeah.
No, for sure before the Gilder people show up.
Oh yeah, I understand that you want to do it before the Gilda show up, but I want to make sure we were clear that you were waiting for the Palatine to provide some cover first, presuming they can make it up there in secret, and apparently they have.
Okay, so if they show up, then I think we're good to go ahead, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't have the gem. I don't have any of the gems in my thing, so I can't do anything about that. I'm waiting for the other people who actually have them to approach and
So
put
that
them
would
in.
be Ms.
So
Ms., which 3 have you retained?
Oh,
That
I
was the
take
plan,
it.
right? 1 stays with Kaoli, 3 go on Mizram, and where was the other one?
Yeah, I think. Do we all agree that we're going to use the overall shape ones to plug in?
Yeah.
And that the gems we plugging in, I guess.
Okay, so which gems are those?
Let me drop the tags into chat for you. That would be, well, if you look at the picture, that would be the multicolored one, which is Mo Polar.
Mopolar, that's the opal.
Yeah.
And that would be the anger. Yeah.
Agaplar,
Yeah.
Agaplar, and
Agapolar is the onyx,
Shoplar or
Yeah.
and Shotpolar
Valspar.
is the ruby. Okay, so presumably Kaoli is holding on to Melos Polar, and who is holding on to Compolar?
I can.
Who?
Hey,
Okay, all right, so Haig has that one. And let's see. So let's get this referenced correctly. So Shah, Aga, and Mo. Mopolar is going to says it's on you, but I don't see it in your list. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, so everyone has the right ones. Ms., are you heading up there?
Yes, I will be heading up there with
I
Jim.
believe everybody needs to head up there because they need to go through the door, right? That would be my assumption, unless half the group is going to stay here and we're going to split the party.
Do
What
it.
could go wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should all gather on the altar, or at least near the door, if not on the altar.
I've got the people who are not
Gather
here.
on the altar, right?
I got the people who are not here. The rest of you can move yourselves. Why the hell is Feckish so big? It's the Goliaths that need to be bigger.
At the door.
Is Haig?
Sorry, say again.
I'm waiting for you guys to move yourselves into position.
I
One sec.
apologize.
What happened there? That shut off.
All right, and now keep in mind, Ms., where you are, you do not have visibility of the indentations.
I think it's on the opposite side.
Yeah, where Jim is. Roger.
I'll stand here, but I'm technically next to. Okay, I'll stand there then. Let me just move the token a little bit so Jim can still activate
so
his.
who's doing what?
Oh, I take it you guys want me to put it in?
Let her
Well,
rip, Tater Chip.
Well, I want to. The wizard is going to see how quickly the doors open when we put the stones in, because that'll determine whether we can pull them out and make it through before it closes again, or whether I've got to use a dimension door to jump through before it closes.
Okie dokie. I will put the 3 gems in if everyone's ready. I'll look at everyone, give everyone a thumbs up in my elf form, because it'd be a little bit weird if the weeds are trying to do it.
Yeah, because then what would you do? Would you like puke them up or something like that? If they were a part of you, like a cat with a fur ball or something?
No, I don't think he can eject them without fully reverting back to humanoid form.
Yeah. So they'll be safe on me. So once we take them back out, if we can take them back out of the stone, I can then safely hold on to them when I turn back into animal form.
What's that?
Stuck to itself already. Does the heat gun?
Oh, really?
All right. You're not muted.
Is that
Jim.
good?
It's not.
Sorry.
All right.
All right. So you put the 3 stones in Mizram.
Yep.
All right. So now
Which
Red
ones,
Dress watches. Oh, yeah. I suppose you should tell them which
to
stones.
clarify which ones you're putting in and in what order?
Oh. Well, I will probably try and start with the Mo Pilar first. See if that fits okay.
Pick up Mopilar, you put it up to the first slot to your left,
Yes, if it fits.
and it seems to have almost a magnetic attraction. Not a particularly strong one, but as you get it close enough, it just kind of falls right into place.
Okie dokie. And then I will go the Pilar.
Which one?
The Angpilar, if I'm pronouncing that.
Agapilar,
Aga, okay.
the black one, right?
Let me pull off the. Yes.
Is that an onyx or a black sapphire? I don't remember. I think it was a black sapphire, actually. Check.
And then last one, the nice pink one.
Yeah, black star sapphire.
Hmm.
That's a very, very rare stone. All right. So as you raise each one to the sockets,
Mhm.
as I said, they seem to have a magnetic attraction and just kind of fall into place. But nothing else seems to happen even after placing the third one.
Gotta utter Ray.
Okay, you got to say the words from the inscription.
That's what it says. Utter Ray, I believe.
Oh, I gotta look back. Hold on.
So I take it we need to put these in certain ones in a certain place. Then
This is like Lord of the Rings. Speak, friend, and enter.
ah,
What's the Elvish word for friend? Melon.
Mela.
So whatever the word is, you just got to you put them in. So I'm guessing you've got to say the word. So
you asking the cat with very poor language skills.
you're not a
Humanoid
cat
form,
right now,
aren't
though.
you?
You had to change into
No, I'm in elf form.
Oh,
And
well,
I'm
I
like
said
looking at you,
humanoid. I didn't say human. I said humanoid.
but you are the one who put the things in, so it makes sense that you're probably the person who's got to say the magic word.
Okay, I'm going to try to read the inscription without looking at the and think of the translation as I'm going to read it from the. Yeah, I'm going to see what I remember, because once you get used to this, the day shall come when men of valor. Yeah, I can't do it as good. So I thought, men of valor enter this garden and bring with them the great star stones. This has been foretold by Martek in the time of light. Not they will place the stones in the altar and recite their hold on, I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything, guys. I'm sorry. But my keyboard, I'm laying down, so my orientation keeps switching and my keyboard keeps getting in the way. Man, it's so fuzzy. Time of light. Told by Martek in the time of light. They will place stones in the altar and recite there. That word is so fuzzy.
You got it right a little further down.
Recite their name.
Mm-hmm.
Recite their name. Hold on, it's in the way again. And finally, we shall the 1001 doors be opened. So recite their, is that a Z? So recite their names. Yes? Okay, let's see. By finally uttering what am I missing, Keith?
by finally offering.
You had to figure it out. You just got to put it back together again.
Oh, all right.
So you trying to say we all got to incite our names to who's going to be doing this test to be able to enter?
No, the names of the gems.
Oh, names of the gems.
Oh, okay. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah. Be opened before them, then their courage, test of their courage will begin. Okay, so yeah, we got to recite the names of the gems. We can't just place them. That makes sense. Okay. So let's see if it does something different. Did you put them all in, or did we put them in individually? Whoever was holding on to them.
My understanding is that Mizram put in each of them.
Yeah, Mizram put them all in. So
Mopilar
All right.
on the left, Agapilar in the center, and Shapilar on the right in that order.
Then
But they are fitting in the correct holes. Okay, there's nothing. It's accepting them where they are.
As he held up the gems, they just fell into place, as I said.
Yeah, give her a rip, miss.
Then I guess I will recite all three gem names, Mopilar and
All right. So as soon as you say Mopilar,
yeah,
your voice echoes and resonates throughout the entire dome, something that obviously can be heard throughout the garden.
oh shit. Then I will pick up speed and then I will say the other two gem names.
What did you say right before the other two gem names?
Let it run and let's look.
So what was that, Keith? I didn't quite hear
you
you.
need to mute Dan.
Yeah, you're not muted, bro.
I'm not muted. My mic was.
Okay. Now we're free of background noise. Yay. All right. So say that again, Ms. What do you do after you hear
I
that?
would then recite the other two gem names.
Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Keith.
Got to give me some challenge, Ms.
Agapilar.
And that, as you say it, your voice again echoes in the same form and reverberance that you heard when you uttered Mopilar.
And then Shapilar is hopefully last one correctly pronounced.
And the dome behaves in the same manner.
It doesn't open.
No, nothing else happens.
Did you say nothing happens?
Nothing else happens.
Hmm.
I
Come on,
look
Dan, are you on mute?
What?
And then after the names, it said speak.
I know you know this.
Ray?
You were so excited
Ray,
you figured it out.
say Ray.
There you
Ray,
go.
Yeah.
And with that,
Ray.
as he says Ray and shouts it out, you hear the sound of a highly vibrating, comforting tone ring out from the doors as they begin to open slowly and majestically. As they open, you see the following beyond. At the sides of this hall, made of glass steel, a blue fire burns fiercely. The hall is 30 feet wide and 100 feet tall. Every 15 feet, a glass steel wall blocks the hall. There is an open door in the center of each wall. So there you can't really see it in the image. This hall continues what looks like almost infinitely through that door. So there's another section of hall just exactly like it beyond that, and then another one beyond
1,001 doors.
Sweet. That looks cool.
Yeah.
Shall we go, gents? Shall we go quickly before we was there any so So there was a resonation that people could hear.
Oh,
Everybody
they
heard
heard
it.
the echo. They heard the
Yeah.
echo as soon as he said Mopilar.
Time to go, guys. Let's go.
So
Yeah.
so you guys, Redrith will let all of you go through, and then I need one person to stay back with me, and we're going to try and pull the gems back out again, and then I'll dimension door just inside the doors there to
Cool.
hopefully close it up behind us.
Wait a second. Wait a second. Magic doesn't work in here.
Is that true?
What?
That would be
Why?
bad. Remember, KLE couldn't fly.
Who's been here before?
Jim, cast fly on me.
Okay. I will actually let me look at my list here. Just a
At
sec.
this point, you can start hearing cheers coming from the Gilder village, and they sound like they're getting closer.
Quick, 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 quick.
Yeah, I'll cast fly on Haig.
Actually, I would probably say it sounds more like a riot than a celebration.
Whoops. I should have targeted Haig.
Okay. Well, hold on. Let's think this through because Mrs. Whatchamacallit works. His he can stay a ferret. Gosh, I don't know if this is gonna work, man. What were you gonna say, Keith?
I said I confirm what you was going to confirm what you just said. Yes, his transmutation is still working.
It's a risk.
Why is it adding the effect to me? I thought I was targeting you.
How does how many spell slots do you have, and how many does Dimension Door cost?
I'm full up. Oh,
Can you-
Dimension Door. Yeah, I can Dimension Door. It
Test it.
costs
See if
once.
it works.
I can do it twice. You want me to do it
You
once
can
just
now
to see if it
the
works?
mob approaching just beyond the power.
Okay. All right. Well, then you guys, I need almost everybody to get through the door. Go through the door.
Okay, let's go.
Run
And then
through the door.
save one person back. And if not, we'll just make a dash for it too, because it's only 50 feet away, right?
I'll stay
Okay.
with Redrith. Everybody else go through the door. Varric will stay
Okay.
with Redrith.
Okay.
All right. So I will target.
I got those spots.
I believe I'm targeting.
Okay, bake them.
Okay, yeah. So I'm targeting Varric. All right. So Varric and I, as you guys, the rest will just assume everybody else is dashing through the doorway here. Varric and I will yank the gems. We'll just do a 1, 2, and on 3, yank the gems.
Okay.
And then I will attempt to do Dimension Door. What is Dimension Door doing? Why is it doing damage?
It's wounding me.
I don't know why that happened. I don't know why Dimension Door has
Yeah,
damage
that's
assigned
weird.
to it.
That's very strange. Very, very strange. Something with the way it's coded.
Okay, that's weird.
Yes, it is indeed. So let's see.
Okay, well then I'll just do it like that. Okay, so I
Force.
attempt to do Dimension Door with Varric while we're both holding the gems. If that doesn't work, we are just gonna do a double dash through the doorway. So
Okay, clear those wounds. All right. So as you pull the first gem, nothing happens. You pull the second gem, nothing happens. You pull the third gem, nothing happens. You pocket the gems. You attempt to cast Dimension Door. Apparently it fails. You don't change positions, nothing materializes here or there. And
Okay.
presumably you just start
Dashing.
running for the door anyway, which isn't closing.
okay.
Okay.
But
Very
now-
good.
Cool.
So now presumably everyone is inside the doorway at this point. As the Guilders engage
Minor illusion?
in confrontation with the Palatine. Palatine, unfortunately, seem a little disoriented. You're not quite sure why, but Percivalus is charging up towards them and starts giving commands and telling them to get into formation, hold the line, etc., etc., etc. So at the moment, they are at least holding back the Guilders. You have a hallway in front of you.
Go, go, go.
Go,
Do
go,
we
go.
check for traps?
No time to waste.
You
Off
run
we
down
run.
the hall. There's an open doorway.
What's the
There's
hall made
another
out
hall.
of? The hall floor was made out of what?
The entire hall, not just the floor, is made out of glass steel.
Glass steel. That's what I thought.
Steel that looks very much like glass, but obviously is as strong as steel. And not quite as transparent as real glass, but it is highly reflective. So you run down the hall. We're running, right? We're not taking our time.
Oh yes, we are. I would say move, move, move.
Okay, so you run down the hall 15 feet, come to an open doorway. There's another hall just like it. Are we continuing?
Yeah, why not?
Run through the hallway, come to a doorway. There's another hall just like it.
Does anybody have any oil?
Yes. I think I do.
See if you can spread some oil on the floor behind us.
Let's see. I thought I did. I have whiskey. Will that work?
I have Sinar too. I don't think so.
It says the 1,000 doors will be opened right before them. There, the test of courage will begin.
Right.
I think we just keep. We're not expected to run through 1,001 doors. You think? Does the next door have any spot for a gem?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Every hall
And the
appears
hallways?
identical, at least at the speed that you're running.
The hallways look exactly the same.
Yep. You pass through another one.
I'm going to stop at the next one and look on both sides of the doorway and see if there's a slot for a gem.
No, the only difference between each side is that the doors, as you pass through one set, are pointing towards the direction you're heading. And so as you come up to the next doorway, the doors are open outwards. Through it, another set of outward doors. So if you turn around, the doors would actually be facing you, or should say, opened towards you.
Is there the doors go different directions, or do we just got to keep going forward?
That's the question at the moment.
I would
All the
take
doors are
out a
pointing in the same
ration and
direction.
break off a piece of it and drop it in the doorway just to see if we're going through the same door over and over.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
I like it.
I don't think you're going to be able to successfully extract any piece of the door, but you're welcome to try to drop something else.
No, a piece of ration.
Oh, okay. Right. So drop a piece of ration.
Yeah, and then run to the next door and see if the ration is there. Is it?
Doesn't
You
appear
know.
to be anything left there.
Okay,
Everything
all right.
looks
Then we just
spick
got to
and
keep
span
going.
like it was cleaned by a janitor 20 minutes ago.
So these aren't going to work.
So we just got to keep running.
Go through another door, and 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 another door.
Do we seem to be getting caught up on? Or there
As
just
far
seem
as
to
you
be
can
a
tell,
battle?
The halls beyond just like you're looking in a mirror reflecting back the same image. It just looks like it goes on and minimizes to infinity. Go through
Yeah,
another
no. This is. I don't think we just keep running.
All right, so we're gonna test your math skills. How many doors are there?
1,001.
How far apart are they?
Did you say 15 feet or 50 feet?
I said 15, 15.
15,000 feet. We're going to have to run 3 miles.
Yeah, run a few miles.
Is anyone going to bother to keep count of the doors?
Ooh.
Probably
Actually, I
not.
think
She's probably gonna
KLLE
lose score.
probably would.
She probably
totally would.
would. Yeah.
100%.
All right. So the question is, and I would normally rely upon her to help me answer this real quickly, but I'm not quite sure how long it would take you guys to run 3 miles, and I presume we're not going to keep it at a sustained pace and completely wear you guys out. But we're going to say it takes you, let's see, what is it? The 4-minute mile is considered a good average or a good
A
record.
4-minute mile is excellent.
Yeah. Well, I'd say I corrected myself. A good record standing. I know they've beaten it. since
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
So
So
for
my,
you guys, I'd
in
say
my
probably
best
20 minutes would be reasonable. Yes.
my best military time, I ran a 13-minute 2-mile
13.
in
So
at my
okay,
best.
that was your best military. So saying that it's about 15 minutes for you guys to run a mile is not too excessive, right? Seem appropriate?
Yeah, I would say, yeah.
Because you're also pacing yourselves
Full
out.
armor.
You're not
Full
trained
armor
track
pacing
runners.
ourselves, yeah.
All right. So
Because I could run a sub 10 mile in high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say 10 minutes is my guess. That would be
That's unencumbered though by anything, just full
no
bore.
10 minutes. If I had a backpack of stuff on, I could probably when I was athletic, I could probably do an 8-10 minute mile with a backpack on.
Now, if I tried running a 10-minute mile, it'd be a if he dies situation. Like that'd kill me. Where are you in the hospital? I was running.
I was running. Yes.
all right. So something obviously changes as you reach a point where things look different. Go figure.
I'm sorry, they look what?
They look different.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Let's go. We got it.
Where it comes, where it goes.
Where it stops, nobody knows. But there was an easy way to get all the characters over to the screen. Oh well. You know, they keep changing the interface all the time and makes it harder to be able to do things quickly, unfortunately. The hallway ends at closed golden double doors 30 feet wide by 100 feet tall. The gold doors have ornately carved glowing runes cut into them. 10-foot wide arched corridors lead off to the east and to the west. The runes, as you approach them on the door, are not in the old language that you've been used to. In each case, though it'll take you a minute or two to actually figure this out and realize it, you will do so. But the runes themselves begin to morph and transform into your preferred language. So those of you who are elves see the Elvish script.
Goliath seeing giant.
Thekish sees Draconic script. The rest of you see Common script.
Goliath see giant.
Yep.
Yes, Goliath see Giant script. And it rearranges to say the following. My monument to Phoenix, good friend and true, stands watch over the way to the gate of my tomb. Walk that path straight and narrow. Do not waver or falter, and you chance will given to come to my altar. So I will copy that over.
Open the door. Sorry.
Where the heck is it?
Is Jasa there?
Forgot about that. Hold on a second. Copy text from picture. Just 1 minute. There you go. At this point, you don't hear anything coming down the hall. It doesn't sound like anyone is behind you, at least not near.
Just a question, Keith. Which of the doors is in Elvish?
The runes are only above, or I think they're in the door. Let me double check that.
Ah, okay.
But it's only in the central doors. And again, whoever's viewing it, it changes into a language you can read. So, at first you don't realize it. It's just very natural. And it's, the language you were learned at birth, basically, or from as a child. So it's almost instinctual. Obviously, language is not instinctual itself, but, the way we all can learn languages a lot better in our youth than we can in later years, that stuff kind of sticks with you a lot better. So at first, you don't notice it, and it turns to Elvish for Kaoli and Mizram. It turns to Giant Script for the Goliaths, and you each read it naturally. But then at some point, someone's going to comment, is like, "Hey, do you need me to translate that for you?" And like, "What do you mean? It's written in so and so." It's like, "No, no, no, no. It's written in so and so." And then you guys all kind of realize that it's all morphed to something that you each find most natural. Obviously, some kind of magic. what are you going to do now?
Well, the question you need to be asking yourself, Keith, is do you want us to wait till next time due to the time, or if people want to pick the route now?
We still got 10 minutes left, and I don't think there's any action you can take right now that's going to force a longer set of actions immediately.
Well, I vote. It
But
says
it's up to you guys. If you want to call it at this point, we can do so. Maybe Alvy and Alex will be here and they can vote in the decision. But yeah, you did just run 3 miles, so even from a game standpoint, I can see the argument and say, hey, let's take a breath first.
Yeah,
For
I'm
real.
willing
That's
to
fine.
hold off until next time.
Yep,
my
that's fine.
my computer is out here and my toes are cold at this point, so I could go inside.
I can't deny this is a good spot to pause it. And definitely something to think about. You know, the runes obviously are telling you something that you should take into account, probably before proceeding. What exactly it's
Okay.
asking you or telling you, I guess you'll have to deduce between now and then.
Straight and narrow. We got to go right up the center, right?
that what I would
Yeah, I
naturally
think
assume.
so. I'm
Yeah.
thinking the same thing.
For sure.
Wow, that is really weird. Huh. Okay.
What is?
I just noticed something. My text to speech, or sorry, my image to text function obviously screwed something up. So in the text that I posted inside the game, 4, 5, line 6 is do not waver or falter.
Oh,
Oh, right. Yep. Oh, I didn't even notice you put it in the game chat. I saw it in the campaign play channel. So
Yeah, in the campaign play, and that's what I'm saying. They look almost the same, but somehow the one in the campaign play channel is correct, but the one inside Fantasy Grounds seemed to have lost the not there. So just to clarify that.
very good.
Right.
All right. So yes, food for thought, or thought for food.
Food? Spider legs? What?
There we go. All righty then. We will catch up with you guys later.
Have
All
yourselves
right,
a great
thanks,
2
guys.
weeks. Hopefully we'll have a
Yeah,
full
thanks.
crew. Let's just confirm our next gaming session will be on February 3rd.
Yes. So close to my sister's birthday. Awesome.
As long as we're not going to pull you away from any family obligations.
No. All I have to do is just do what all big brothers do: just throw money at your sisters, and then they go, "Yep, we're good."
All right.
Thanks.
All right, gents, have a great 2 weeks. Thanks again for showing up. Don't worry about those of you who had to be late. I'm just happy that we can all get together, and hopefully we'll have a full crew for next time. And
Yeah.
anyone that's actually watching, thank you for doing so. And we'll see you probably in about a couple of minutes.